Hey there, my friends. It's Andy coming live from Southern California. I needed to come on at a very odd time. It's 1:35, I know, Pacific Standard Time. But tonight at our church, we're having a guest speaker. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. It's not. I think he's from Israel. I'll try to find it. You guys may, if you're on my personal page, you'll probably see me put a shared post on there. And if you're not, I'm going to tell you where to go, and maybe I'll put the link in there. It's going to be really good. His name is coming up. Uh-oh, went to the wrong side. Hold on, stand by. I came on so quickly that I'm unprepared. Hold on. His name is coming up right here. Amir Sarfati. You say that wrong, it sounds funny. Sarfati. And I've listened to it. I'm listening to his book right now. I'm listening to it on Audible, and really, really good. He will be speaking at our church tonight. We'll also be praying for the state of California, what's going on with our country, and especially what's going on with our state. And that will be happening tonight. Let me see who's joining me so quickly. Paul Byer, Israel. Yeah, he's from Israel. Good afternoon, Don. Nice to see you. Yeah. And Paul Byer has an affinity. Is that right? An affinity with Israel? Because that's what you were. Weren't you in the army in Israel, Paul? I forget, but I'm pretty sure you were. And then Don, one of my big fans. I'm so happy to have Don on all the time. He has great comments. And those of you that are watching, I see we have a much larger number than that are watching. Please feel free to comment and say hi and tell me where you're watching from, and agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. I have a few people right now that are disagreeing with me on some of my social platforms, and it's quite fun to have arguments, having discussions, hey Amy, nice to see you. My producer's on, having discussions on my Facebook, Army and Police. That's right, 10 years. And again, Paul and I work together at Anaheim Police Department. A fantastic guy. He and I have some stories, or at least I have some stories. I'm not sure if he has stories, but I have tons of stories. All right, let me get to my sponsors really quick first before I do anything, because it's really important. And I am finding that one of my favorite sponsors is the one right here. It's called, the URL is todayshappycoffee.com. That's not the name of the company. That's the name of my company, because it is a network marketing company. But the products within this company are fantastic. Here I have some of the peach tea, and yep, this is the lemonade zest, and then there's coffee. That's why it's called happycoffee.com. It has happy hormones that help you with your happiness and bring some joy to your life, especially what you need right now. Also, it has appetite suppressants, and they have a great new product called Elevate Max, which is a great product. And I obviously, as you can probably tell, I have a lot of energy. It's because I took one of these pills earlier along with a drink. I have gone from 215 pounds, and I would say about 200 pounds in the last 3 months since I've been using these products. I'm down to 191. I weighed myself yesterday, 191. And that is my ability to be able to do that isn't necessarily that I think that it burns calories, is that it helps me with my appetite so that I'm not stuffing my face with a bunch of stuff. And I actually get full fast, and I do intermittent fasting. So I can stop eating at about 7:30, 8 o'clock the night before and not eat until late into the afternoon the following day. And that really seems to have been knocking off the pounds. And that is without going to the gym. I just started going to the gym 2 days ago. So people go, hey, well, then you must go to the gym every day. Well, I haven't, because it's been closed. And so it's fantastic. So today's happycoffee.com. And then today's CBD oil, one of the best CBDs on the planet, because it's patented, uses liposome technology, and it's created by one of the top 50 healthcare companies in the world called Viseo. And then you can also go to todaysviseo.com. So go to today's CBD oil.com to get the CBD oil and the great cream, which is right here. Or if you want to get some of the other wellness products, go to todaysviseo.com. All right. So let's talk about whether to knock or no knock, or to shoot or don't shoot. And I'm going to kind of hit a couple things here. We're going to be talking a little bit about the Breonna Taylor incident, George Floyd, PCP guy in New York, Rashard Brooks. And then I forgot the guy's name that got he's paralyzed now because he was shot for going for a knife. So we're gonna kind of encapsulate all those people in this particular discussion, and I think it's important that I talk about it again. This is maybe the 10th time I've talked about it, but I'm gonna be coming, I think, in a couple different directions that we haven't come before, because it is just important. And I know for sure, and I've said this before, I know for sure that I'm probably not going to convince the dimwits who have decided that, all cops are evil. But Donald Trump is an evil orange man, and we have to get rid of him, and he needs to be whatever. They say a lot of different things about him. That he needs to be jailed. That he's a crook, right? And all this kind of stuff. You've gone beyond help, right? You are what we would call 5150, where you are just a danger to yourself and a danger to the United States of America, and you simply have gone 5150 against the United States of America. So if you are in that realm, I know. I'm not going to penetrate through whatever it is that you put up as your feeble guard from truth, and that you have some type of I don't know. It's like truth is kryptonite. I've said that before. Oh no, not the truth. Stop. You are an asshole. You're a jerk. Sorry, kids. You're a jerk. How dare you come to me with truth and facts? But this is for not only my American friends, but it's also for those of you that are kind of like, I'm hearing these things, but I'm really not sure what to believe, because every news place that I go to says that Breonna Taylor was shot while she was sleeping, and the cops just went to her front door and shot her. That's what I'm hearing. And then the guy that was going, he was just sleeping in his car over there in the Wendy's drive-thru, and the cops shot and killed him. And then you have the guy who, the rapist, right? They don't tell you anything about him being a rapist. They're not telling you anything about him trying to steal a car as the reason why they don't tell you any of that. That suddenly the cops just like, hey, there's a black guy. What we're going to do is we're going to chase him to his car, and then we're going to shoot him in the back in front of his kids, because we have not done anything fun today. So let's just chase this guy when he goes to get in his car. Let's just fire like crazy and kill him. And that's what they want you to believe. That's what you keep hearing. I have really stupid people as friends, apparently, because they don't go away, and I like it. I don't get rid of people. They eventually get tired of being belittled, I think, sometimes, and they finally just go away. But I don't know. They continue just to prove my point. They continue to give me fuel and stuff to do in regard to my shows and my comments. So I want to talk a little bit about the knock, no knock types of warrants and that kind of stuff. And I've written warrant. You know what? I got to do this, and I'm sorry for those of you that have watched a lot. All of you that are on right now already know all this stuff, but I know that some people see this for the very first time, and they're going, "How do you know, Andy?" Well, I know because I was a cop for 21 years. I've been training police officers for 30 something years. I testify in court cases involving law enforcement use of force, and I've been doing that for about 30 years. I investigate cases. I watch video. I read police reports. I read depositions. I've even gone to locations and looked at evidence at locations. I've gone to places and interviewed some of the participants in some cases for years. I've been doing this, and I testify quite often against police officers. And so I don't need you to tell me that I'm just a police lover, or that if no matter what, I side on law enforcement. That is so far from the truth. As a matter of fact, I have many police officers who will no longer talk to me. I have friends who are police officers or used to be police officers who won't talk to me because they know that I've testified in a couple cases against cops. And I think that because I do that, I think that I'm more for law enforcement and police than they are. Right? If they want to bar somebody that knows what they're talking about from looking at an incident and deciding, is this cop good for law enforcement or bad for law enforcement? Is he good for the citizens that he's working for in that city or that county or in the state that he's working for? Or is he a danger to those citizens? And you need somebody that actually has the ability to look at something on both sides and make a decision. And I'm that guy. That's what I do. So no one, because I have lost really, really good friends, people that I've traveled the world with that no longer talk to me, pretend I don't exist. I have organizations, law enforcement organizations that I have created, that I was president of. And if you call them today, they'll say, Andy, who? We don't know who he is. And so you have no right, and you cannot say that I am a stooge for law enforcement. I mean, there's nothing you can say in that matter. I look at everything based on the evidence that's given to me, and I will tell you the truth. I will tell you when they were on. I actually was one of the really fast first people to get on, and it's the first time I've ever really done that. Usually I wait 2 days or 2 weeks before I make a decision on something, but in the George Floyd incident with the officer, I actually came out and said, that cop needs to go to jail. And he did, but you know what? There's some stuff coming out that I'm going to talk about in just a little bit that's going to probably not end well. in regard to those people that want to see him go to jail for a very long time. And so I'm just going to tell you right now that looking at everything I know now, there's a little bit of me that said, God, Andy, you normally wait. Why did he should have waited? But everybody, like nobody in law enforcement saw that and said, oh, that's good what he did. Almost everybody in law enforcement I know said, ooh, that's going to be a problem. And so, but now there's more stuff that we see in videos and stuff that I know that I've been told by people that are in the know that we're going to have some problems when if they get a jury that actually takes the oath and makes a decision based on what it is they know. I'm telling you, there's a really good chance that the cop will do no time. That was kneeling on the neck of George Floyd. All right, so let's go back to Breonna Taylor really quick and talk about knock, no knock, just really fast. And I'm not going to go through all the details and everything about it because there's so much confusion. It really is simple. They were serving a search warrant to arrest a number of people that night, and her apartment was one of those locations where they were going to arrest some people. They were drug dealers, known to carry weapons, and they were dangerous. And they went and got a no-knock warrant for her location. And a no-knock warrant allows us, when I've gone for a no-knock warrant and written it, it is one of the most difficult things to get approved because you are trying to convince the judge that, you know what, this is so dangerous that by us knocking, we can put both us, the law enforcement that are there to arrest people, and the people inside in danger if we knock. What we want to do is we want to have a dynamic entry, meaning we want to boot the door and maybe even send in some type of flashbang or something like that and go in so quickly that they don't know what hit them. Just go in there really fast because we know that they're armed, we know they're dangerous, and we know that maybe in some cases it's a third striker who will do anything not to go back to prison, right? So whatever that is, whatever that information is, it must be in the information. But again, you have to have the knowledge and the credibility to be able to go to the judge and say, you know, I wrote this, my supervisor read it and agrees. His supervisor read it and agrees, and now the DA has read it and he agrees or she agrees, and now we're coming to you, judge, and everybody has read it. It's now up to you, and now the judge. So there's a lot of checkpoints along the way for it to get to be a no-knock. You know, again, when you hear people on the news and media people and idiots on Facebook, morons, people on the street going, yeah, we burned down the police department. Breonna is a saint. No, no, she's not a saint. She's dead, but she's not a saint. And so none of that is true. None of that exists. You have to have a lot of information to be able to do this, especially when it's a no-knock warrant. All right. And then even have a warrant. Again, you have to have the same information. You have to have identifiable things that are on the building. You have to, of course, have the address right. You have to, I mean, there's so much that has to be written in there. Your experience, what it is you've done in the past. And then if you don't have enough, you have to find somebody that does to make sure that their information is there, who they are, what schools they have gone to, how many search warrants have they written in the past, and all this kind of stuff. So when you hear people in the media say, it's just cops, they went over there and they just shot her when she was sleeping. No, there's days that go by preparing. In most cases, sometimes you get a pretty quick warrant if you have exigent circumstances. But in most cases, in this case, which I'm going to show you a graphic here in just 1 second, there was planning that went into this whole thing. So just understand that whether you get a knock or no knock is really based on the danger. If you can say, hey, it is going to be much safer if we just walk up there very quickly and we boot down the door and we go in there and get them. And that's what you want us to do as law enforcement. As a person sitting there in your living room, whenever you're watching this, you want cops out there taking out bad guys who are killing people with narcotics, for instance, or weapons. And this is what they were dealing with in that night. That you have drug dealers who are killing, right? Drug dealers in an overall blanket statement are killing thousands of people in our country, right? Our children, some of our children are getting caught up as they grow up, they fall into the wrong crowd, or maybe you're the type of parent that isn't really paying attention to that kind of stuff. And they stray and they begin taking drugs, and then they get addicted, they get caught up and they're dying. And really, of course, the people that are peddling the narcotics are one of the people that are in line that need to be taken out. You have the cartels that need to be taken out. You have the drug dealers that need to be taken out. You have the street people that are actually, they're hiring kids and stuff like that. You need to arrest them, and you need to also then look at the parents and if they're doing something that you can arrest them for. So there's a whole lineage of people that need to be looked at when it comes to illegal sales of narcotics, and they're getting way more technical about it. It used to be that they had pagers, right? And before they had pagers, they had, it was like whistles and noises that they would make as we would drive up in our patrol cars. You'd hear the whistle, you hear popo, and you hear a bunch of stuff. And then that's how they alert, people like the jungle, right? It's like the jungle, and don't get all crazy. That wasn't a racist thing. I'm talking about jungle. Like you got, I can't say anything. You have signaling from person to person to let people know that something's happening, whether it's time for dinner or it means that something's coming up. And I know somebody's going, well, you just said, you know what I'm talking about. All right. So in regard to Brianna and this knock, no knock, that's what depends. The next thing I want to talk about is that you can make a choice, right? You have a choice. You have the ultimate that you could just bust down the door, throw in a flash bang, or blow off the hinges with a shotgun. They have a special round that you point at the hinges of the door. If it's sealed, if it has some type of locking mechanism where you can't boot a door like you normally could, or use a ram to get in. You also have a shotgun blast that you can shoot the hinges. The hinges come off, and now the door opens up on the opposite side of the doorknob. There's a number of ways that you can go in dynamically and get in there quickly before somebody gets up and reaches for the gun, wherever it is, and you get on top of them before they have an opportunity to do that. You can do that, or you can go, you know what? It seems really quiet. Or, again, the supervisor that's in charge of this particular entry can then say, you know what? Let's go ahead and knock. And you can have that option if you want to. And so those people that say, you hear people like, well, no knocks are evil, right? You have politicians, you have governors and mayors and other dimwits that are on the news saying we need to end no knock. You know what the thing is? In this case, they didn't not knock. They knocked, and I think that's kind of like, you shouldn't have knocked. You should have gone in like you planned. You had the right intelligence. How do we know this? Because a person is dead. Breonna Taylor is dead, not because of the cops. It's just they thought, listen, you know what? Let's knock. And so you're trying to make these decisions. And I got to warn you, people that are sitting at home in your warm or cooled off rooms because you have air conditioning, watching television and making decisions. They shouldn't have done that. When you're doing that, you are not there. You're not standing there at the door or rushing up to the door, and all these things are going through your mind, knowing the type of person you're going through. Let me show you how seriously they took this particular warrant. And here we go. This is the whiteboard. So this is the whiteboard. This was all planned out. Those are 3 different locations, maybe 4 different locations that were being hit pretty close to about the same time. You have all the officers, all those names in the blue are different officers' last names, and they have canines. They got a canine in each location. I think at least 2 locations they have a canine. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and as many as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, including a dog and a dog. So anywhere from 8 to 10 people, other than that last house, that's a question mark. I think they're deciding whether they're going to hit it or not. So at least the first 3, you have 8 to 12 officers plus a canine. Each one of them has a sergeant, and they have a plan as how they're going to go in there and arrest these bad guys, these bad people that are known to be dangerous, right? You don't set up this plan for, a parking ticket warrant or a speeding ticket warrant. Down below in the red are where the hospitals are and how you get there. You may not be able to see it, but the hospital names are listed on there, and the directions on how to get there from the location are written in red. That's what we do. On the left are the targets, are the pictures of the people that they want to make sure and identify as the suspects are going after. There's 5 different guys in this picture. Brianna's picture isn't on there. I look for it. But she definitely was listed as the one of the occupants of one of the apartments. And you have these people. So this, again, I just want to point out, I want to show you that because, again, there's this narrative that I keep on hearing that, well, they just went in there and killed her. No, there was a lot of planning that went into this thing, and she happened to die even with all that planning. And this is something that happens. It's not great. It's horrible when somebody dies. I'm not telling you, well, that's what she gets. No, I'm telling you that there was a lot of planning that went in there to try to keep people from dying. They even have the locations of the hospitals that they're going to take the victims of any kind of injury or gunshot. That's written down there, how to get there quickly, because you don't want to wait for a paramedic to get there. You don't want to wait for an ambulance to get there. There's not enough time when people get shot in the head or the heart or the femoral artery of the leg or what have you, that you need to have all this stuff planned ahead. Right? You would not plan where the hospitals are if you were serving a warrant that you thought, we're just going to go in there and we're going to tickle them with a feather and everything's no. Why would you have the directions to the hospital? because you think it's dangerous and you're making decisions based on whether we should knock or not knock. And not knocking is, again, and at the time of night too. You sometimes can't get a warrant for after 10 o'clock at night. That's what these were done like 1 o'clock in the morning. These were dangerous people. The information they had, the officers felt that it was dangerous. It got signed by not only the officer who wrote, the investigator who wrote the warrant, but his supervisor and that supervisor's supervisor, and then the DA and then the judge all reviewed it and said, yes, let's give this a no-knock notice. And we're going to go in there and get him. Why did Breonna Taylor die? She died because her boyfriend shot at the cops and hit a sergeant in the leg with a bullet through the door, and they returned fire and she died. Was she laying in her bed sleeping? No, she was not laying in her bed sleeping. She was standing in the hallway. So when you hear people say, and I had somebody do this today, like, no, I can't believe that you're okay with somebody, cops going in there and shooting somebody that's asleep. She wasn't asleep. She was standing in the hallway. So no, none of that is true. All of those things that are being said are just for you, in an attempt to make you believe that this is just rogue cops who went crazy one night and decided to go find a black little girl sleeping in a bed in her jammies and wanted to shoot her and kill her. That is not what happened. Absolutely not what happened. And there is more information. And again, there is more information. Simply, this is what it is. Drug dealers, a number of them. Cops decided tonight's the night, we're going to go get them. We're going to arrest them because they're dangerous. They're killing people with the sales of the drugs, and they also have weapons. They're dangerous people. We're going to get a no-knock warrant because we know they're dangerous. They get the no-knock warrant. Everybody that I told you signed the warrant. Everybody agreed that these people are so dangerous that we need to go in with a no-knock warrant dynamically to get them before they can be arm themselves and shoot at us, and then we don't have to kill them in return. That's what a no-knock notice warrant is for, to save lives, not to kill people. All right, whoever out there is listening to this and maybe a politician who's going, we're going to end no-knock. No-knock warrants are to save lives, not to take lives. I know what your thoughts are and what you're hearing. It is not true. On this night, they didn't even not knock. They knocked. Right? Again, that takes away the fact that you're thinking that a no-knock is what got her killed. They had a no-knock warrant, but they knocked. The next thing is she was not sleeping. She was standing in the hallway when she got shot. And why did she get shot? Not because law enforcement wanted to shoot somebody. It's because they got shot and they got hit by the bullets from her boyfriend. It's her boyfriend's shooting at the cops that caused her to die. They were responding to a lethal attack. Well, they were undercover and they wouldn't. Shut up. Just, you're stupid, and shut up. They are criminals. We are going after them to arrest them, and sometimes bad crap happens. I've told you before, police work is not pretty, and things don't look good on camera, and that's going to lead me to the next thing. Let me get to George Floyd really quick, and I just want to prepare you that everything is not always as it seems, and not everything you're going to get what you want. Now, could the cop, and I forget the cop's name, I've just put it out of my head, I can see his face, but he had a large number, and there's two sides of this that I look at as and see the negative on both sides. George Floyd probably should not have died on that night, but I think he would have, regardless of whether he was kneed on. But the thing is, what's bad for the cop and what's bad for the city and what's bad for the state in regard to being sued financially on a civil suit is that they allowed a cop that had a large number of incidents where he was investigated for use of force under color of authority. And he was exonerated, or they found him guilty and just gave him like a day off. But when you reach a certain amount of number, you really got to consider whether you get rid of a guy for his own good, for the citizens' good, and for a suspect like a criminal like George Floyd, a criminal. All right, he is a criminal. He was a criminal. He was committing a criminal act at the time that he was contacted. Again, they didn't go there to kill him. Right, so that takes away the murder, the murder one thing. They didn't go there to kill him. Just in the process of arresting him, they killed him. Again, I don't think that he's going. The cops, if he's convicted, it's because they just needed to convict him. It's not because of probably what George Floyd died of. Because there's video now that you can see that he has a dime bag of fentanyl in his mouth, and he apparently swallows it during the arrest. That will kill you, whether somebody's on your neck or not. That will kill you. If you take it in that manner. It depends on the purity of it all and how much was actually in there. But that would be enough to kill most people. Now, he is a big guy, but he also looks like he may, been a long-time drug user, had comorbidities. We've learned that word since the COVID-19, right? He had other issues. He probably wasn't in the best of shape. And now you add a dime bag of fentanyl. while being wrestling and being afraid of going to jail, and you die. And so understand, when you die and they're trying to decide whether it's murder or not, did the kneeing on the neck kill George Floyd? That's what's important to understand. They're going to have a defense that's going to argue that it wasn't the kneeing on the neck that killed George Floyd. It was something else. All you need is reasonable doubt in a criminal case. And if you have one person on that jury that says, I don't know, it could have been the fentanyl, you're done. The cop walks. And so that's why I warned them early on, is that you need to power down, because you need to understand that this isn't a gimme. None of them are. You thought O.J. Simpson was a gimme, didn't you? Maybe many of you didn't. Maybe some of the dimwits on Facebook, oh no, he's a fine man and he didn't kill her, didn't kill his ex-wife. No, he killed his ex-wife. You don't be stupid. All right. So George Floyd, do you understand what I'm talking about there? Is that you even in what appears to be one of the clearest cases of wrongdoing by a law enforcement officer, the officer that should be put in jail for a very long time, may not be so clear. All right. So this is the danger of people getting on, including people like Geraldo Rivera that I've seen, dimwit Biden. Can't think of his name. What's his first name? Joe Biden, whatever. I almost called him Kamala Biden. You got Kamala saying, when in my administration, along with this guy named Joe that was running along with me. Did that not tell you what's going on with the DNC? With Kamala Harris and all the rest, it says, that's obviously excessive use of force. No, you can't come out seconds after something happens. I did it, and I'm telling you now that I may have made a mistake with George Floyd. That maybe I should have waited before we saw all the different angles of the video. I'm telling you, we are going to be running into some problems. But you have dimwits that are jumping on TV and saying stuff that just simply is, you cannot do that. This is what's causing so much crap. Now, these rioters are being hired to riot, BLM and Antifa. They're being hired to do it. So they would be doing it regardless. But now it just gives them a reason. And the media, of course, is supporting them and saying they're just rioting because of George Floyd. They have not mentioned George Floyd in the last 90 days. 100 days ago, I think they said it maybe once or twice. And they could care less. They don't care about George Floyd. They have Breonna maybe on a shirt, but they don't care about Breonna. What's the other guy's name? Rashad Brooks. They don't care about Rashad Brooks. They don't care about the people that are being killed. They're not. They're getting paid. They're worried about getting flown to the next location and doing a good job of riding and maybe blinding a couple cops and maybe hitting a couple in the bricks, because I think they get bonuses for hitting a cop in the head with a brick. They get bonuses for blinding one with a taser, a laser, whatever. This is not, just stop your stupidity. I have Christian friends that go to the same church I go to that are dumb enough to follow along with BLM and say, you don't understand what BLM is talking about. No, apparently you don't understand who BLM is and what they're being financed. It's no longer about Black Lives Matter. You could, whatever you believe, you could believe the Black Lives Matter. You could believe the cops matter. You could believe anything. You believe that purple people matter. But none of that is why any of this is happening. So just shut your trap. And just be stupid. Just continue being stupid, because it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do, but that they want power. That there's a lot of other things. They're Marxist terrorist group. All right, let me get back on track. I almost went off. PCP guy. I talked about PCP guy in New York, the guy who had a hood put over his head. Again, it's not pretty. And I've seen news anchors and say, well, you may want to, this is brutal what the cops did to this guy. And you may not want to watch this. This is going to look really bad. And this is horrible. This is horrific what the cops did. And they're saying it when they know nothing. These people have done nothing in their lives. They've probably never been in a bar fight. They probably never wrestled with somebody on PCP and been spit on 10 to 15. I have. Maybe 10 people I've experienced with PCP. 4 of them were violent people. One guy was trying to chop down the A at the Anaheim Stadium. The big A at Anaheim Stadium. He was trying to chop it down with a little tiny, I think it might have been a tomahawk from Disneyland. He was trying to I'm going to chop just down, right? And he's like, and he just kept, and we're going, hey, dude, stop. And he's like, oh, he's trying to chop down the A, and he was naked, right? I told you about the naked guy and one of my other friends. He was naked. He walked through a plate glass window, shards of glass sticking out. He looked like, what's the horror movie with the guy that has stuff sticking out of his face? That's what he looked like. He had glass sticking out of his face and his body down in Mountain View and Orangewood, the area of Mountain View and Orangewood. And he's like walking around, blood all over him. We'd arrested him I can't tell you how many other times, and had to hog tie him those times too. And now he's bleeding. We're wrestling with him. He's sweaty and bloody, and we're having to wrestle with this guy, and we're trying to get his feet together and tie him, and he ended up dying. It wasn't, we didn't kill him. It was that he was on PCP and then he was bleeding out and then he was naked and sweaty and had a heart attack. That's what killed him. We didn't kill him. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all riled up. Am I all riled up, kids? Whew. Am I okay? I might be on PCP. You never know. But I'm telling you, you can't be sitting there in an air-conditioned, well, now they're in their home, some broadcasting from their home sometimes, but you can't be sitting there going, oh, this is just horrible what the cop. Okay, you go out there and wrestle the guy with PCP and see what you end up doing. Well, he's spitting on you during a COVID-19 pandemic and he's not wearing a mask. They put a mask on him and now you didn't like that they put a mask on him. And he's actually spitting on people. And you go, how dare they put a mask on him? Wait a minute. For the last 4 months, you've been telling us that how important masks are. And now you put a mask on a guy who's on PCP spitting at the cops and they're saying, it's so horrible. They put a mask on him. Well, which one? Which one do you want? Which one do you want? Well, they laid him down and they had his knee on it. Well, that's because sometimes you have to lay on people so they don't hurt themselves. They don't hurt the cops so they don't hurt others. What do you want us to do? What do you want? Okay, get up and run around, act like an idiot and go kill somebody or go around to the road and get hit by a car. Apparently the media says, you can't hold people down who have gone completely crazy on an illegal narcotics like PCP or methamphetamine or fentanyl. Apparently you know better that we just need to listen. Let him go. Let him be free. Richard Parks, who was drunk off his ass. He fell asleep twice in the drive-thru while the cop was talking to him. Right. And that he doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't know what county he is, right? He doesn't know where he's at or how he's going to get home. And people are saying, well, they should have just let him drive home. He was just drunk. He didn't know where he was. He was so drunk that he couldn't figure out what to do or what to say. He had no clue of where he was and what he was doing. And he got to be, well, I should have just let him go. No, they had to arrest him for his safety. For his safety, for the safety of others, and for the safety of law enforcement. There is no choice. When you are confronted with those three choices, even cops, and I don't know if Paul Salon or any other cops are on here. I should have looked before I started yelling and screaming. Whatever cops are on here, I don't know. At some point, there's days where you don't want to arrest people. I'm telling you. So I worked from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 3 o'clock in the morning for most of my career. That was more than normal. When you're working from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 3 o'clock in the morning, at about 1 o'clock on, you're going, please, just everybody stay calm. Please don't you got blinders on. Please don't let me see anybody run a red light, or please no calls go on the radio where I have to go on because I want to get off on time. I'm going to be putting in my 12 and a half hours. And this is like your third night on 12 and a half hour shifts. And you're thinking, please, just nothing happened. I'm telling you. There's these times like you don't want to have to arrest them. You're trying everything not like, oh, dude, come on, just cooperate. Is there anybody we could call to come pick you up? Like, do you know where you're at? No, I'm in Washington or whatever. And well, no, you're not. You're in Wisconsin. And you're going, oh, he doesn't know where he's at. He doesn't, what are we gonna do? And then you can't call somebody when somebody's so drunk they don't know where they're at, right? You don't necessarily want to call somebody because now this drunk gets in a car with somebody. And have you seen miserably angry drunk people in a car with people, right? They're idiots. And you're going, now I'm going to put this drunk in a car with a friend and leave them responsible. This guy that's so drunk that he's driven to the Wendy's. He doesn't know where he is. He thinks he's entirely somewhere else, right? And so now you're faced with this and you're going, oh, I didn't want to arrest somebody. Right. But when you have somebody that's a danger to themselves, danger to others, and danger to you, liability wise, right, you got to take them. There's no choice. So just back to Richard Brooks is that, all right, we got to hook him up. Because I've seen some people, after they talked to him so long and he was being so nice and that kind of stuff, they should have just let him go. No, how? You're an idiot. You're a moron. And I know I've been told not to call people names, but that's just, what am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do? And when you look at each one of these cases, you see, like, you've never done the job. You don't know what it's like. I'm not telling you it's a great job. I had fun doing this job. But sometimes you just say, listen, this is what I got. I got this, and this. Handcuffs, right? There's no way around it, right? This, and this. We got to go no knock because if we don't, there's a chance they can get to a gun and shoot at us, which, again, proved to be correct. They were correct. The cops in Kentucky, they were correct. It was so dangerous that they should have gone in without knocking it. They were correct because look what happened when they knocked. Shooting started, they shoot back, somebody died, right? We've done this. A lot of us have done this for a very long time, and you just have to have faith and trust. Not all of us are good. Again, I testify and I investigate kind of criminal activity of other law enforcement, and I testify against them. So I would not have a job that keeps a roof over my head and keeps clothes on my body and my children's body, if not for me looking at law enforcement in a way that's balanced and letting you know that there are some cops that I testify against. There are some cops that have lost their job because of my testimony, deservedly so. But it's a very small percentage. I'm telling you, it's very small. I would venture to guess there's far more dishonest, corrupt doctors than there are police officers. I would have no problem, and many of you would agree. There are far more corrupt politicians than there are police officers. Right? Uber drivers, right? We've had Uber drivers that do stupid stuff with their. So you can't name one. You want police to be the only people where you don't on occasion make a mistake in hiring somebody or make a mistake in doing your job. Like there's cops that make a mistake doing their job and somebody dies, but they didn't do it on purpose. I was talking, there was another thing, there's another argument. And this is one, actually, this is the main one, and I'm just now getting to it. This is the main one that came across is that, well, they're making all these changes. And if they wouldn't be making all those changes if cops weren't bad. They wouldn't be making all these changes if what they did and used in this particular case wasn't bad. That is not true either. You hear people taking away, politicians taking away less lethal options. We don't want you using tear gas or pepper balls and that kind of stuff. What are you, crazy? You are crazy when you take away those. Those are called less lethal for a reason, because the only option between their combat, they're being combative and shooting sometimes is the less lethal options. So what do you think happens when you take away those less lethal options? You have combat, death, right? There's no carotid restraint, which is a fantastic way to getting control over somebody. It's used every day in dojos all over the planet, every day, thousands of times. Even during the pandemic, I venture to say somebody was using a carotid restraint during some type of training or somewhere in the world and using it very effectively between friends. I've choked out my kids. They'll tell you. I've showed them how to use it and how to do it. I wish my son was around. He would actually come and tell you. Would you think I would use a carotid restraint on my son? And again, now I'm going to get Child Protective Services coming over. But it is a very effective way to wrestle. I showed them how to do it properly. It is a great, great tool. And now I'm wondering if CPS is going to come because people don't understand it. They're thinking, right? So you got combat, no carotid restraint. All right, can't use that. No pepper ball, no. Taser, no taser. The spray, the gas, the tear gas, no, can't use that. I guess I got to shoot them because you have no other option. They keep coming, like they're coming. Well, nope, I can't. Nope, I can't. Oh no, I can't do that. All right, gun, bam, and you got to kill them because I'm not going to die at my job as a police officer. I'm not going to die. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to die for anybody. I mean, I die for my partner, maybe, because of taking some action to try to save them or somebody else. But yeah, I mean, in that case, that's you're putting yourself in more danger as you begin to protect it. But I'm telling you, I'm not going to die at the hands of a suspect if I can help it. A suspect is not going to kill me, and I'm sorry to tell you that. So if now you take away my less lethal options, then I have no choice. It's going to be either a knife or a gun that I'm going to go to, and I'm going to take them out because that's all you've left me. You've taken everything else away. So when you have this argument with me and you say, well, they wouldn't have taken away the no knock notice option if it wasn't bad. No, they took it away because they're stupid and they don't really understand what it means. They don't understand why we have no knock. It was created for a reason. Because we went one day, and it could be during my era of being a cop that they actually, but I could be wrong. I don't know when it came up, but I just remember it became apparent that this was an option. And they said, well, we have to be very careful. And we thought, yeah, these guys, we know they have guns, right? Especially during the Sinaloa cartels and the Colombian cartels and that kind of stuff. We really utilized no knocks a lot because we knew they were armed. We knew a lot about them. And there was no use. Absolutely no use of going, hello, it's the police. We're coming in to get you. It's the social workers. We're going to come give you a couple pamphlets. Could you not shoot? because we're just social workers. And that you would have held up the pamphlet and a bullet would have went right through the pamphlet, right into your forehead. Are you kidding me? And so the no-knock warrant is a necessary tool that is going to be taken away because of dimwits who have no idea what they're talking about. And the carotid restraint being taken away, another big mistake. Now, you can't choke somebody across the trachea. That is completely different. That is you're gonna end up killing somebody. There's two different things. There's the choke, and then there's a carotid restraint. Two different things. Carotid restraint is you grab them by the hair. Right? Police work is not pretty. I'm going to take you through it. If you see this on video, you're going to say, that's so horrible. Yes. Well, you have a guy who you have an option of either taking in custody alive or taking in custody dead. Let's try to take him alive. And this is how you do it. You hit him on the shoulders, like he's facing you, right? He's facing you and you hit him on the shoulders and you grab one shoulder, you hit him on the other shoulder with your hand as hard as you possibly can. All your power. You try to shove your hand through his shoulder. That's how hard you hit him. You hit him so hard, you spin him around. As he spins around, because you've hit him so hard on one shoulder and pulled the other shoulder towards you, you then get your arm around his neck. You grab his hair. You pull his hair back so you get to bring his chin up, and you sink your arm in there as tight as you can, and you close off the two carotid arteries. And you try not to collapse the trachea. You do your very best. Now, when you're fighting somebody and you're trying to stay alive, it can be difficult. But if you do this properly and get in there nice and tight, and then you grab your shoulder as you're doing that, right? And then you put your other arm up here and you protect your face, because what they do is they reach back and try to scratch your eyes out. And so as you're doing this and protecting yourself, you squeeze, and all of a sudden you'll feel them fight, and you feel them go limp. Immediately you let go. They go to the ground, you handcuff them, and they wake up like 2 seconds later, 5 seconds later. And they're handcuffed. And they go, how did I get handcuffed? I was just fighting you just a second ago. That's how quickly it happens. I'll show you. Bam, bam. And you let them go, handcuff them, and they're done. That's how fast you can get somebody in custody. You do it any other way, you're going to kill them. And you want to make sure and not kill them. That's really, really important. All right. Wow, I am sweaty. I think I lost a couple pounds putting on this show. All right. I hope that I address some of these things. I'm all fired up. I was just texting somebody who's actually on the broadcast, and she goes, man, you're fired up today. I am. There's just a lot going on. And it's just like, people are just crazy. And it always seems to come down to one person, right? Not me. It comes down to one person, a president, right? Right now, everything, which is really the thing that got me fired up today, is that, they talk about how he does nothing, right? He plays golf, that he's so stupid that, he's going to get us into a whole bunch of wars, right? We know, there's a bunch of other stuff, right? That he's fat, that his hair is not real. All right. And all this, that he's a racist, right? We go all these things, but yet we know none of those are true. He may be a little orange. That may be true, but the other ones, they know none of them is true. But in their argument of how he's nothing, right, and does nothing, they also at the same time they say he's responsible for creating a vaccine that's going to kill people. So I thought you said he wasn't. How could he have done that and done nothing at the same time? He's created like these 9 different vaccines. You're saying that he's created all these 9 vaccines that you're not going to take. But just the other day you said he did nothing. Okay. He's responsible. Like Biden, he's responsible for the hurricanes and the flooding that's going to occur, and people are going to drown because of him. Well, I thought you said that he's done nothing, but now he's a god, right? Now you put him into this god. He's responsible for the hurricanes. That he's an arsonist. Now he's an arsonist. He's flying around setting fires. I thought you said, how can you be an arsonist and setting fires if you're busy golfing every day and doing nothing? And again, you say he's so dumb, but yet he's created a vaccine. He's responsible for the hurricanes and drowning of tons of people. He's also he's an arsonist. and he's responsible for all the destruction, the chaos, the looting, and the burning of the buildings in democratic cities. So apparently now him and his Trump troops have gone to democratic run cities and set them ablaze. Okay. So he's gone from doing nothing but golf to now he's doing a whole hell of a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. He's either is a god and incredible, just an amazing human being that he's done all this stuff, or he's fantastic. And I think that's what it is. He's fantastic. He's the best president we ever had. And just one last note, when I put this thing up on Prager University about boys, what have happened to the boys, right? What are we doing to the boys? We're pussification, right? We've destroyed these boys over the years. And because I hear people, he shouldn't say that. That's really bad that he said. It's causing people to get angry. And just like, what? What do you have? I want to say something. I got somebody on here. Let's see what they have to say. Somebody says, because Republicans can't get elected in major cities. Yeah. You're right. You are right. You are so right. Air one Matu. It's pretty simple. Yep. Republicans can't get elected in major cities. Everybody's just trying to steer clear of the dimwits. Oh, sorry. I skipped way down. There's a lot of comments. I'm not going to be able to get through them all. Thank you, Colleen, from Twitter. Nice to see you. Their strength. Yeah. Colleen, I don't know are you a police officer? Have you been around somebody on PCP? Are you a nurse? Have you seen them in the hospital? They actually break. You know how they put them in these restraints. They've seen them. It is crazy. They will break their arms to get out of stuff. I told you about the naked guy walking through a plate glass window, and that didn't even slow him down. He has shards of glass like sticking in his body, and it was hard. We're trying to get around the glass. It was stuck in him because it was cut. We didn't want to get cut and have his blood get into our system. We didn't know he had hepatitis or AIDS or whatever. It's so crazy. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Maybe what's his name? He has more to say here. Oh, dang it. Where's Air Matu? Where's Air Matu? I don't even know how to say that. Air one Matu. Let's see. Oh, my fallen warrior from yesterday. Oh, he's fine. I told him to get up, stop being a wuss. I told him apparently you can't do it. I will tell you what I really told him. I just get up and go out, either cry or go skate. What you want to do? And don't worry, I won't bring you skating again if you're going to continue to cry because you fell down. You fell down, you get up. Don't lay there like a wuss and let people stare at you on the ground. Get up. And so that's what I told him. And I know I'm going to have Child Protective Services come and get me because I shouldn't say stuff like that. But I hug them and kiss them and tell them I love them and all that kind of stuff. But there's other things that they need to learn, that you don't lay there and cry. You need to stand up as quickly as possible. Unless something's broken, of course. If your leg's flopping, all right, you can lay down. You can sit down on a brick. But if you can walk, get up and go somewhere else. Go cry behind a bush. All right. When they brought them, it took a few. Yes. It's so sorry, but I didn't mean to click on that. Yes, I'm telling. Nobody knows. If you've never wrestled somebody on PCP, then you cannot speak on the subject matter. And same thing with these people. If you've never had to go in after somebody that you know is armed and dangerous, because at some point you have to go in there and get them, right? They're inside. I've been, around this building where you can hear the guy shooting the gun on the inside. He's trying to shoot through the walls at us and stuff like that. And then there's silence, and you don't know if he killed himself or if he's lying in wait. But you've been there for like a day, right? And you shot in gas and all kinds of stuff, and you're going, well, at some point you got to go in. Now, if nobody has ever been in that spot where, especially like an active shooter like that, where you know that you can hear them shooting and then they stop shooting, because normally what they've done, they've shot them. They've shot themselves. Very rarely do you hear a lot of shooting and then silence, and now they're just waiting for you to come in. It does happen, but I'm just telling you, usually they shoot themselves. So at some point you got to go in. And if you've never been in that situation where you're like me with my dog, and then two other cops, you got a point man, right? You got a rear guard, you got the canine, you got another couple of officers there that have the sides, with their, I had an MP5. They had M16s and MP5s. Some of them went straight to handgun, depending on if you're entry team. That's quite often you'd have a handgun as you go enter. There's different configurations. If you've never been at that point at the door or walking towards that door where you're trying to stay focused and understand what your role is, because remember, a rear guard in actuality should not be looking forward, right? Their job is to always look behind and to be very strong in that manner, right? Same thing with the guy going forward. Is it his job is to see forward, and the guy on the right to look right, and the guy on the left to look left, unless you do a button hook and then you change positions, right? And being very disciplined what it is you're doing. If you've never been in that situation where you have to stay strong in your job and you're entering a place where you've heard somebody in there shooting, and you got to go in, you cannot speak on this subject. Right? You can't speak on this subject. You got dimwits like this guy. I don't even know. I wish I knew who this guy was because and again, I love people on here like this that are so stupid because Republicans can't get elected in major cities. Not Cuomo. Giuliani. That wasn't. Somebody correct me. Was Giuliani Republican? Because I think that he was the mayor of New York. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure Giuliani was Republican and he was the mayor. Ronald Reagan, I'm pretty sure Ronald Reagan was a Republican and was the governor of California. Eventually became the president of the United States. You got, okay, maybe he's right. Maybe right now, there's no Republicans in major cities, but we do have a Republican in the White House. So I don't know. That really is, on the surface, that appears to be a really good argument. But in actuality, it's a pretty stupid argument. But it's pretty simple, according to Air 1 guy, whatever he says. Let's see, maybe he's going to have a good big comeback here. Yeah, Rudy was fantastic. Both were, yeah, all right. I just want to make sure. I'm sure there's others. Those are the ones that kind of just fly off the top of my head. It never is a stroke to say that they never can get elected. I'd say is he said can't. He didn't say never, but can't get elected in major cities. Well, let's see what happens in November. I don't know. I'm hopeful, prayerful that we can make some huge changes in the major cities in that area, if that's possible. But again, a dumb statement without any facts. All right, my friends. Now I'm just kind of responding to you guys. I'm having fun hanging out with you guys. 10 out of the top 25. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, but we can see what happens. I wouldn't be so proud of the Democratic leadership in these cities. Have you seen Lightfoot? Have you seen her? Not just in the way she looks, because we know she looks like Beetlejuice, but I mean, I'm talking about, have you seen how she runs the city? Do you see what's happening there? So I'm not sure that I would be that proud of my Democratic leadership over there in Chicago, nor Baltimore, nor Seattle or Portland. Or definitely not. The greatest news today, New Yorkers must be so happy, is that de Blasio is taking a furlough, and they're just going, oh, thank God. They're going to have a better run city with him on furlough than they have with him in the office actually running the city. They're like going, oh, thank God. Could you take? Well, I don't know when their next election is for the mayor. They're probably thinking, if it's 2 years, they're thinking, could you take a 2-year furlough? Because we will do you stay home. We will just go back to work, and we'll go back to the cabs, and we'll go back to having the police run the law and order in the city. De Blasio, you stay home. How about that? If I was in New York, I'd be cheering in the streets. I'd be getting a bunch of people and saying, he's taking a furlough. Hey, everybody, the mayor's taking a furlough. Let's go back to work. Let's have some fun. Let's cut some hair. Let's go to the gym. Let's open the restaurants back up. The Wicked Witch is dead. He's taking a furlough. Oh my gosh. People are just like, oh, thank God you're taking a furlough. Go away, you idiot. You are a moron. All right, my friends. Exactly what all these this Monday Night Crime. All right. Yes, you are so right. Everybody, thank you for watching. Again, I know the people that are commenting are people that I can count on and kind of like seeing some of the points. But I also hope that sometimes I'm giving you speaking points that maybe you didn't have an understanding before about certain things. And now maybe arming you with knowledge and information that you just never really thought about. It's a world that people simply don't understand if you've not been a law enforcement officer. You can watch television and see certain things happen on television and things talked about the kind of stuff, but understand that most of these television shows are produced and directed by liberals. And so you'll get some of the taste, but there's nothing like actively fighting a person on PCP and then knowing what not to do the next time, the mistakes you made in trying to deal with somebody like that, or serving a search warrant, kicking down a door, whether to knock or not knock, whether to shoot or not shoot. All these decisions are very difficult decisions unless you are tasked with deciding whether you're going to live or die at the hands of a Rashard Brooks or PCP guy or George Floyd or Breonna Taylor's boyfriend or Breonna Taylor for that matter. When you are not confronted with that decision and trying to make a decision based on the seconds that you have to make that decision, it is wrong for you to speak on it as if you are an expert on a television network or from a mayor's office. But I love you guys very much. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you. And now we're going to go do some more skate park stuff. And my little warrior, he's going to go back out there. He's tough. He's perfectly fine. He just needs a little pep talk. And thank you for asking, Don. I appreciate it. All right, guys, take care. Talk to you later. Bye. Oops, hold on. I don't know what I was thinking. All right, now, goodbye.